Bonjour, my name is David DeVere. I'm a wine and spirits educator and world traveler. You're watching Savvy Nomad TV. This is episode 7 of tasting tiny little scotches from this Advent box. If you don't know what we're doing, you can go back to episode number 1, the unboxing, and watch what we're doing. But we're drinking scotch outside in the wintertime, and these are little lessons before the tasting. So here's your lesson for today, and I want to talk about distillation and temperature because I think this is kind of interesting. I want you to imagine a refinery in your head. You've probably seen one, these big, kind of stinky, weird looking things. Lots of pipes, lots of valves in an industrial park. So what's going on at a refinery? What they're doing is they're taking a barrel of crude oil and they're breaking it down into little component pieces. So what kind of components are they making there? Well, they're making kerosene, gasoline, diesel, petroleum jelly, various weights of motor oil, bunker oil, plastics, epoxies, lots of different products. And they make all these different products because they heat up the barrel of oil. And as they do, at different temperatures, all these products get evaporated out and then recondensed essentially into other component pieces. All those pieces are made from one barrel of oil. When you break it apart, you refract it, break it apart. Now, John D. Rockefeller, when he first started doing this, he just took crude oil from Pennsylvania and he distilled it and made it into kerosene. But he had side products he didn't know what to do with. One of those was gasoline, and he was like, just take it out back and burn it. I don't care. Get rid of it. I sell kerosene. I'm saving the whales. Until Henry Ford came along and said, hey, I think I could use that gasoline in this new thing I'm making up called a car. And so, voila. That's a bit like a still. A still does the same thing, but on a smaller scale, and it does it for alcohol or for, in our case, scotch. The problem is that alcohol evaporates at 173 degrees, 100% alcohol, and water at 212 degrees at sea level. The problem is that when you got your beer in the still and you're heating it, you've got a various amount of alcohol or water in there, and it changes all the time. As it's boiling, more stuff is coming off. The stuff that comes off at the beginning, the low boilers they're called, are harmful. They can kill you if you drink them. They can make you go blind. What are they? They're things like methanol and acetone. Yeah, the same stuff you use to clean your fingernail polish off, acetone. You don't want to drink that. Those are called the heads, and distillers can cut the heads out, meaning they collect them and then they throw them away at 170 degrees to 190 degrees. So they're cutting the heads out at those different temperatures. When it reaches around 190, they start collecting the liquid, the distillate, and that goes to about 205. Those are called the hearts. At the end of that 205 to 212, that's called the tails, and while those are not technically as hazardous to your health, they're bitter and they don't taste good and they can ruin the product you're making. Those lovely scotches that you're making are going to get ruined if you keep the tails in. So often they might do this 2 or 3 times. That's what double pot distilled means, or triple pot distilled. They're doing that. They're going to take those hearts and then they're going to put them through, and they're going to take the heads and then take the tails off again to try to get that center cut, if you will, that best piece that has all the wonderful essential aromas and all the oils, all those little esters that you want, and just the good alcohol, none of the bad, none of the bad. Does that make sense? Now, there is a theory that if you get a bad hangover from cheap booze, it's because the more of the heads and more of the tails were left in the liquid. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a theory that I've heard espoused in liquor circles for many, many years, and, well, could be just a legend, and I guess I just propagated it. Hey, I'm on the internet. Why not? Anyway, that's your lesson for today. Let's go outside and taste today's scotches. It's finally snowing. Oh,
Don't block the view.
sorry. It's finally snowing. We have had one of the least snowiest winters maybe in the history of Duluth.
Yeah.
Maybe only, like, this is maybe an inch of snow, and we're maybe at like 18 inches for the year, where last year we had over 170 inches.
That was something.
That was something. Okay, well, this is something.
Everything's fine.
Whoops.
Oh.
It didn't break.
It didn't break.
Well, the only time I ever took out the little foam blocks pre-game, we dropped the glass.
Everything's fine.
Huh.
Just a little fresh snow to chill the glass.
Okay, so we're drinking 13 and 14. I'm going to put this off camera onto the bench over here. We're in a little gazebo. We'll show you that in a minute. And I'll try not to drop anything.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we're going to taste numbers 13 and 14. 13 is single grain Scotch whiskey, 10 years of age, so that might be yummy. Look how
Single
cute.
grain. So what does that mean?
I don't know.
One distillery, not 100% barley.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, we're going for this already. Okie dokie. Whoa there. Oh, interesting. Fruity and oily. Okay. Oh, here, you have a sniff and I'll read what
Okay.
you should smell. It's the Gorvon Distillery barrel cask. Nose of tropical wafts of pineapple, fruity pastries, some creamy notes of coconut, chai, and granola.
Fruity pastries.
Fruity pastry.
Totally.
Yeah, they nailed that one.
Okay.
It smells really good. Palette of, what do you think?
I'm glad I didn't drop that glass
Again.
and break it. Okay. It's thick in the mouth. It's a little bit spicy on the tongue. It's sweet. It's honey flavored. It's making my mouth water.
Boy, you're good. Since I didn't read this out loud. Dried oranges, buttered brioche with honey,
Yeah.
called that. Softly spiced with sweet vanilla fudge.
God, it's great.
Yeah, very tasty.
It's very delicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's add a little water
Okay.
for science.
The finish, they say, is butter biscuits and more vanilla, sweet roasted barley, and peppery zest.
That's probably all the water I need. I took a
does
big
have-
gulp.
It does. No surprise there. As per usual, I'm not preferring it with the water.
How old is this? 10 year?
10.
So 10 year. So our theory is that the older ones do not need as much water to help them open up.
Or any. I mean, I don't know. I guess I liked it better without the water. But going back to the palette of dried oranges, there was a bitter aftertaste on the sip without the water, like an orange peel has a bitterness to it.
Yeah, I get the bitterness here.
Yeah.
The water seems to dull that
It dulls it.
unctuous sweetness.
Yeah. Which is too bad because that was pretty nice.
It was so much better
Yeah.
with so much better
It's
without
so much
the water.
better.
Okay.
But I'll still finish it. Okay.
Well,
good.
I mean, it's got
That
to
was
go
yummy.
back in the box. It would just spill all over and make a
Right?
mess.
No, nobody wants to spill it or drop it.
Okay. Not again.
Not again.
I don't want to drop it again.
Okay. So that was 13. Pretty tasty. So number 14.
Where was 13 from?
13 was from, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Girvan.
Oh, I meant the
Girvan
region, so it was
Distillery.
a
Oh, it's for
lowland.
lowlands. Oh, I forget to look at that side. Yeah, so that was a lowland grain whiskey. Number 14 is from Linkwood Distillery, single malt Scotch whiskey from Speyside.
So single malt means one distillery, 100% barley.
Age 5 years. Less aromatic, but still interesting, and it has kind of that like when you put oil on leather smell
Oh,
to me.
oiled leather?
A little bit.
I
Yeah,
love
that smells
oiled
good.
leather.
According to them, the nose
Oh,
would be.
you're right. I see what you mean about almost like furniture polish.
I have no idea. I've never heard of this. Rancio, Rancio. Good luck seeing that without your glasses. Raisins, white wine, white grape, cinnamon, oak, malt, and green tea.
Maybe Rancio's some type of code word for ranchy.
I wanted to say, is it Rancio? Okay. So that was an interesting smell.
This one is less nuanced to me than the previous one. The previous one was big, expressive, sweet. This is a little bit more wood forward, a little oakier,
Okay.
less nuanced.
More burning.
It feels hotter.
Ooh.
It's less sweet. Yeah.
Palette of red fruits, Rancio again, white wine, oak malt, lime, green tea, white pepper.
Oh, I really do not like the description of white wine because that is so basic in a descriptor. There's so many
There's so
different
many different white
flavors
wines.
in white wine
Yeah,
that to call something the flavor of white wine is
seems a little odd.
it's a little bit generic. Okay, here we go.
Finish, medium finish with oak malt, white wine again, ending with nutmeg and lime.
Take a sniff.
So this is with the water.
Yeah, with the water.
Oh, it does smell kind of limey now that the water's in there, or I've been influenced by what they wrote. But I think I think I smell that. That one is not for me.
How do you like it?
Good. Whew. It's bitter. Like,
It's just
I
not.
don't
It's
know.
just not as good as the previous one.
it's probably not bad at all. I think all of these are really good, but when the contrast compare is going on,
I prefer
first one was
the first
easier.
one much better than
Yeah.
this one.
yeah,
Well, that doesn't mean I'm going to let it go to waste.
no,
I'll drink it.
of course. Take one for the team.
Take one for the team. Okay, we're going to take you on a little excursion around our Lester River Park. This is called, there's a road here called Seven Bridges Road. If you ever come to Duluth, you can go all the way up the 7 bridges that make up the river that cross the river here in Lester Park. It's beautiful. It's almost very Japanese
It's
garden-like
really so
today.
pretty. And the
the
dusting of
snow is
snow.
nice.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And we'll be back next week with
Episode 8.
14 and 15.
No, 15 and 16.
Oh, 15 and 16. Until then, I say a tutelaire and
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.